Here's the landing page for the test. And if we scroll down, you'll see some information about the scoring. It's also in the ticker above the landing page, so we'll move on to doing the test. I've not taken this test yet, so we'll see how this is. Notice that just like the web page says, this information on this video is just for educational purposes only, just to show you what you might be expected to do to take this test and work towards getting a diagnosis. First question is, do you like to arrange items in rows or patterns? Rarely or never, 1 or more times daily, 15 or more times daily. When I am working, I like to organize things, my data and stuff. Maybe not physical items, but I do a lot of data organization, informational organization. Do you repetitively fiddle with items, spin, twiddle, bang, tap, twist, or flick anything repeatedly? That's going to be true of, maybe your toes that you continually wiggle and stuff like that. Some of this will be kind of synonymous with ADHD also, so I'm constantly doing that. Do you like to spin yourself around and round? I do, but I don't really take the time to ever do it. That's such a weird question. I do enjoy doing that. Do you rock backwards and forwards or side to side either when sitting or when standing? I do, just barely, but I've learned to control it a good bit. Say sitting side to side more often than back and forth. Do you pace or move around repetitively? Example, walk to and fro across the room or around the same path in the garden. I do this a lot when I'm stressed. I definitely do this. I take a walk several times a day on the same path through my garden spot. Do you make repetitive hand and or finger movements, either flap, wave, or flick your hands or fingers repetitively? Mild or never or rarely, mild or occasionally, marked or notable? I'm going to think mild or occasionally. I'm going to say that marked or notable. There's some people on the spectrum. They'll, when I get stressed, I'll do things like that. Maybe the finger counting a lot when I'm stressed. There are others that rely on that stemming more and would be more marked and more notable. Do you have a fascination with specific objects, trains, road signs, and other things? Marked or notable? Yes. For me, it's a lot of things in nature, math also, but actual physical objects, it would be insects and things like that. I'll sit there and just stare at them for seriously an hour or so, easily. Do you like to look at objects from particular or unusual angles? Marked or notable? I'm a photographer and an artist, and I enjoy taking pictures from unusual angles, especially for myself. I'm a rather tall individual. It says, do you have special interest in the smell of people or objects? Mine's going to be marked or notable. I stem by scent a lot. My absolute favorite smell is the back scent of right behind the neck of a ferret. Oh my Lord. So I've always stemmed through smells. Do you have special interest in the feel of different surfaces? That's going to be marked notable. Not only like tags in my skin, on my skin, but also food textures. There are some foods that I just won't even touch because of. Um, do I have special objects I like to carry around? Yes, and it's going to be my guitar. There's some things in my past I used to like to carry around. I like to collect stones. I like to have a worry stone. I don't have one at the moment though. Do you collect or hoard items of any sort? Mine's going to be marked or notable again. Man, I love, everywhere I go, man, I collect rocks. I got rocks from all over the country here. Man, I've carried pounds and pounds of rocks down mountains, because I go hiking in long distances sometimes. Do you insist on things at home remaining the same? Furniture staying in the same place, things being kept in certain places or arranged in certain places? This is actually never or rarely to me. I don't have a lot of structure in that certain way. I need to put things in certain places so that I don't forget where they are. But other than that, oddly, I enjoy change. I've always had change and kind of chaos in my life, so quite often I'll rearrange things. It annoys other people. Do you get upset about minor changes to objects, flecks of dirt on your clothes, minor scratches on objects? I'm going to say moderate occasionally because I've really learned to, let things go. I do get upset about some things like my clothes. So I just don't have a lot of resources to, continually replace clothes. So if I get like a little stain on it, it's just like frustrating. Do you insist on aspects of daily routine must remain the same? Once again, this is an odd one because it's not like I have a routine where from this time to this time I do this, but I stem a lot by playing an online game, and it's hard to not at least have that in my day. Same thing with being outside and going on walks, or playing my guitar. And once again, it's not that it's on a scheduled thing, but it's a part of the day that really does need to go on. And I'm going to say it does affect others because I keep odd hours at times due to some fatigue issues that cause me to have offset sleep hours at times. Do you insist on doing things in a certain way or redoing things until they are just right? Oh yes, and marked or notably, and this is beyond occasionally affects others, I enjoy making standard operating procedures and other instructional documents and stuff like that, tutorials, inside and outside of my professional life, so things can be just right and done correctly. Do you play the same game, music, or video, or read the same book repeatedly? Once again, yes, it's going to be the same thing about my guitar, my video game. Video, it's really hard for me to sit down and pay attention to videos anymore, so. Do you insist on wearing the same clothes or refuse to wear new clothes? I'll tolerate changes when necessary, meaning I'm going to wear my clothes that I want to wear, but if I need to not, I mean, I will. It's not like I want to. I'm an adult, so. But this test is for 18 and above, so maybe this is for less high-functioning people. Do you insist on eating the same foods or a very small range of foods at every meal? I'm going to put marked or notable. I go through phases where I'll eat something until maybe I get burnt out on it, and then I switch to something else that I eat tons of. There's only two things I drink: Dr. Pepper or coffee, quite literally. Sometimes I can get myself to drink some apple juice, but that's it. What sort of activity will you choose if you are left to occupy yourself? A range of different and flexible self-chosen activities, some varied and flexible interests but commonly choose the same activities. Almost always choose from a restricted range of repetitive activities. And I'm going to put the last one. Unfortunately, man, I have a hard time focusing on other things in my life. It's hard for me to juggle more than one thing that I'm focusing on. For instance, if I'm focusing on practicing guitar, I lose focus on maybe focusing on practicing language, or even social aspects of my life I forget to attend to. So my score is 53. Says the scoring range is between 20 and 60, and the average autistic score on RBQ-2A is 36. It says an accurate diagnosis of autism requires a thorough evaluation by qualified healthcare professionals such as a pediatrician or developmental pediatrician or psychologist. It is not recommended to rely on online tests or self-diagnosis for autism or any other medical condition. And I have gone to a therapist and have taken quite a lot of time to get diagnoses and self-care. So if we look back up here again, we'll see the threshold score is 26 to be considered possibly autistic. Average score for those who are autistic is 36. And you'll see down here there are a few factors. And this simply means that questions 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are specifically about repetitive motor movements, while questions 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 are about rigidity and adherence to routine. I want to say once again, I appreciate your time, and if you are thinking about having an autistic diagnosis in the future, or you have one now and you would just like more information about yourself, I encourage you to take this test and other tests and do some research on autism from reliable and reputable sources. And thank you. Like and subscribe.